Welcome back to Bombastic Nation and Ting and Ting and Ting. Back with some more vibes for all you. And let's go back to my region. The tropical islands in the Caribbean, and this one is geography now. Dominica. Oh, Dominica is called the oh man, it's something to do with wildlife and stuff, because they also have really good ocean stuff that you could go snorkeling and stuff and all of that. But you know what? He gonna explain that for y'all. So let's go ahead and YouTube and simmer and watch to see what Dominica have to offer.
The Dominican Republic. That episode is coming after this one. However, don't click away. You're gonna love seeing what this place has in store. I promise.
Yeah, we promise.
It's time to learn geography now. Hey everyone, I'm your host Barbie, and I'm gonna have to call it out again, guys. This is a tripster nation. I'm not even joking. You will want to come here. I guarantee it. All right, first off,
like
Dominica is an island nation located in the...
Like I said in the Dominica, in the St. Vincent episode, there's 4 islands: Grenada, St. Vincent and the Grenadines, Dominica, and St. Lucia. That's the place to be in the islands, man. Nice and calm, relaxed. Everybody just chilling out the thing, you know what I mean? Hey, I'm kind of biased, but I'm telling you, it's nice down so. Nice.
The Lesser Antilles region between North and South America, right at the convergence of the Atlantic Ocean and the Caribbean Sea. The island is southeast of the French Overseas Territory islands of Guadeloupe and northwest of the territory of Martinique. The country is split up into 10 parishes, with the capital and largest city, Rizzo, on the southwest leeward side.
Look at this, okay? On my island, we got a St. Andrew. We got a St. David. On my island, St. David is where my mom's from. We have a St. Paul. We have a St. George. We have a St. Patrick. We have one called St. Mark's, not St. Mark. It looks like they have more parishes than we do.
Of the island. Speaking of which, Dominica is kind of like right smack dab in the middle of the Leeward and Windward Antilles, each region kind of claiming that Dominica is their northern or southernmost point. Now, the slightly frustrating thing is that it's kind of hard to get into Dominica. There are only 2 regional airports, Canefield on the west side and the larger, more often used Douglas Charles Airport on the eastern side. If you come to Dominica, you will most likely arrive at Douglas. However, Douglas is located on the complete opposite side of the island from Rizzo. So if you're planning on going to Rizzo, you'll have to take an hour-long car ride through the thick rainforests and mountains until you reach Pringles Bay, where Canefield Airport is located, which will make you wish you could have just flown there instead in the first place.
Oh yeah, a drive through the lush, beautiful, unspoiled rainforest. How torturous that must be.
Shut up, handsome Luke. Fun little side note, if Rizzo isn't your thing, you can always go a
nice
little up north to the pleasant
there.
town of Massacre. Now, like Barbados that we studied before, Dominica is a single island nation. I mean, there are a few rock stacks and islets off the coast, and there's that weird little disputed island with Venezuela that's about 200 kilometers west. However, none of them are really big enough to inhabit, and everybody just pretty much lives and operates on the main island. In the northeast side of the country, just below Douglas Airport, you have the Kalinago territories, where the indigenous tribal peoples live and build their traditional homes, trying to preserve their way of life as some of the last remaining indigenous Carib peoples in the entire world. All over the country, you see the cultural residue left from the former European colonizers. First, it was part of France, then the British came in 1763, and then they finally gained their independence in 1978. Unlike other colonies, though, it never became a Commonwealth realm and immediately became a republic upon independence. The funny thing is, though, Dominica was the last island in the Caribbean to be colonized and was therefore under no European jurisdiction, which attracted pirates and adventurers from all over. For a while, it was a huge haven for pirates, and to this day, there are stories of sunken ships and hidden treasure in caves all over. But that's not the only treasure you can find in Dominica. Dominica is nicknamed the Nature Island, as it is the most rugged and densely forested of all the Caribbean islands. Despite being only 300 square miles in area, only about 20% of the landmass is flat enough and suitable for development. This leaves a lot of room for the inland mountain areas to remain untouched and well preserved. And holy crasberries, is it well preserved. I mean, a huge chunk of the Pirates of the Caribbean 2 and 3 were filmed here. Yeah, remember Pelagosto? Dominica. The Voodoo Lady's house? Dominica. Isla Cruces? Dominica. Lots of plants and animals that are believed to be extinct on other Caribbean islands are still thriving well in Dominica, such as various bats, reptiles, birds, including the endemic Cicero parrot, the national bird which can be found on the flag, making Dominica one of the only few countries with purple on their flag, which will be explained in the next episode of Flag Friday. Stay tuned. And get this, even though it's so small, Dominica is one of the most rain-drenched lands on Earth, giving the country over 360 natural rivers, creeks, waterfalls, and ponds that meander through the thick rainforest. Like many other islands in the Antilles, Dominica was formed out of intense volcanic activity from the two opposing tectonic plates, the Caribbean and the North American plates. However, the craziest part about this country would have to be the active volcanism. Although there are other places in the world that have more volcanoes, Dominica is the world's fully sovereign state with the highest concentration of active volcanoes per land area with around 10. This changes everything on how the island functions and operates. Take a hike and you'll find a ton of hot springs and thermal pools all over, including the second biggest hot spring in the world, Boiling Lake, the largest one being Frying Pan Lake in New Zealand, which no promises and you didn't hear from me, but you might hear a little bit more about in another future episode.
Quiet! They're not supposed to know that yet.
Not only that, but the geothermal activity even penetrates the coast on Champagne Bay, a popular snorkeling spot where the sea is warm and literally bubbles up like champagne due to the escaping gas particles from the volcanic activity below. The interesting thing about Dominica is that the whole country is deliberately less focused on attracting mass tourism and prefers to nurture and maintain its eco outlook. This means the government encourages traditional industries such as agriculture and fishing. About 23% of the land is arable and employs about 40% of the labor force, making 20% of the GDP. Pumice, clay, and volcanic ash are easily extracted from the ground and used in export, as well as lumber from around 300 acres of governmentally allocated commercial lands that produce mahogany, maho, and teak wood. Even more so than the land makeup, though, the most distinguishable part about Dominica would have to be the intriguingly culture-clashed inhabitants that live on the island. Now let's knock on the door and see who's inside, shall we? See, I still got it. Just like some other states in the Caribbean, Dominica has a culture and heritage that is noticeably fused and alloyed from the former European colonizers, with a hard dash of Africa and a pinch of indigenous tribal influence. First of all, the country has just over 72,000 inhabitants and is the only Eastern Caribbean island that still retains a population of pre-Columbian native Caribs. The country is about 72,000 inhabitants and is the only Eastern Caribbean island that still retains a population of pre-Columbian native Caribs. The country is about 85% black, 10% mixed, and about 4% of the country is native Kalinago, and the remainder is mostly white Brits and French. Dominicans are quite unique in a number of ways, but let's rewind and talk about the Kalinago. The Kalinago are the indigenous tribe that speak their own language and primarily inhabit the Carib territory on the east side of the island. These are the original Dominicans. Although in the past the number has almost dwindled down to 500, today they've been trying to revive their people and culture and are about 3,000 strong. You can even visit them and learn all about their way of life and culture, which has miraculously been preserved even after centuries of colonization, disease, and crossfire conflict. One reason why it's speculated that the Kalinago of Dominica survived for so long is because of the heavily mountainous terrain that gave them the advantage to hide and survive from outside drama. Otherwise, the rest of the country is heavily French and English influenced.
I remember this, vaguely.
European entities respectively. English is the official language. However, most people speak Creole, which is a French-derived Creole language. It was originally used as a language in disguise against the European colonizers handed down from their ancestors. Although most Dominicans don't speak French.
That's how we have most of the patois / Creole language there. Is the slaves trying to hide their communication from the plantation owners. So a lot of the language, the Creole or patois spoken there was done so through necessity more than anything else. You know what I mean? It's kind of cool, isn't it? You get kidnapped, you get taken somewhere, you put into with people from different places that speak different languages. You kind of had to learn this English or the Spanish or the Portuguese or whatever the masters were, because they're going to have to, you know, scream orders at you. And once you learn theirs, you just make a pepper pot, if you will, of different languages to create something that you could communicate so they wouldn't understand. I wonder if they like banned those languages back in the day and people were punished if they caught them speaking it. Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty versed in the history, but we don't have that specific detail there. I don't remember that detail at all in history class. Let's continue.
Fluently, they can use their Creole to help communicate with neighboring French-speaking islands like Martinique and Guadeloupe, as well as many French-speaking tourists that come. Creole still thrives in households all over, especially in the South by Scott's Head.
Wait, Scott's Head?
No, it's the name of a place, and that's not Scott, that's Brandon.
Wait, so who's operating the camera?
Dominicans are known for having a festival or party for pretty much any kind of animal, person, place, or food. Like, seriously, there are way too many to list.
I mean, we have World Korean Music Festival, we have Goat Fest, we have Rabbit Fest, we have TTV Fest.
We have the Dominica Festival of Arts, we have the Emancipation, we have Independence, we have Christmas.
Like literally, any type of food or animal there is, we have a festival to celebrate that animal, eat that animal, have a pageant with that animal.
Dominica is also home to the highest concentration of centenarians in the world. Research is still being done, but the reason why is most likely attributed to the quality of life and access to fresh vegetables and fruits. People in Dominica don't have to exist in a rat race environment, which in return makes people generally happy and relaxed. Dominicans are very chill and they don't really care too much for mass tourism, but nonetheless, they still know how to invite other people in. Let's talk about who they mingle around with.
Yeah, who they mingle with.
Now, Dominica may seem a little reserved, just like the shy Cicero parrot who tarries ever so delicately through the rainforest, but they are far, far, far from socially awkward. As a member of CARICOM, of course, Dominica always had an intensely close relationship with all the other Caribbean states and treats most of them like family. St. Vincent and the Grenadines and St. Lucia are pretty similar in the whole starting out as French and switching to English thing, and of course, who doesn't want Trinidad and Tobago at a party? France is like the divorced parent that has very restricted visitation rights. They still hold an interest in Dominica and has signed numerous bilateral agreements with them in the past. Outside of the family though, their closest friends would probably be the US, the UK, and newcomer China. A huge portion of their economy comes from the US and UK investments as well as tourism, especially from the British. The US and the UK also hold the largest populations of Dominican immigrants outside of Dominica, and over 4,000 Americans live in Dominica either permanently or studying abroad. China kind of swept in 2004 and was like, hey, can I build you guys some schools and community centers? All I ask is that you don't recognize Taiwan and do some light business with us. Cool? In conclusion, while all the other members of the Caribbean were squabbling, Dominica was kind of like the calm, rational sister that slipped outside and went to the greenhouse to read her book about greenhouses and how to read books in them. Stay tuned. The Dominican Republic.
Yeah. Dominica is lush and beautiful, and there's a lot of sea wildlife around there too. You know, a lot of people go there to dive and you know, see stuff. But you didn't even mention Grenada there, Bob. We all part of the Windward Islands. So wait a minute, is Dominica in the, yeah, St. Vincent, St. Lucia, Grenada, and Dominica, the Windward Islands. You got me confused, Bobby. What's up with that? But anyway, thanks for watching it with me, peeps. You know what I mean, and thing. I hope you guys enjoy this one. And if you notice, with every Caribbean island I react to, there's gonna be different stuff on there. The culture is gonna be slightly different. Even the English is going to be different. You know, a lot of people seem to think that, it's the Caribbean, we all do the same thing, you know, and then they tell me something that they do in Jamaica or they do in Barbados. You know what I mean? And I don't know what it is because I'm not from there. You know what I mean? And I might know a lot about the Caribbean islands, but I don't know everything. There's a lot of them. But anyway, as we go along, you're going to realize the differences in the culture and stuff like that, and the things that we have traditionally upheld and stuff like that. But I tell you what, don't stop watching. Click in that little box that pops up there at the ending here. Click on that. Go check it out. Keep watching the stuff. Binge watch. Of course, my audio and my video is getting better. It's kind of back then, but I'm learning, and as you guys can see, I'm learning as I go along. So it's getting better. You know what I mean? I might change background and stuff here after a while. You never know. You know what I mean? Because I actually like doing this. This is fun. You know, I don't feel so much, you know, with everything that's going on, I don't feel so much alone here watching these, knowing that there's you guys watching it too, all right? Remember, man, take care of each other. Cool runnings. Oh, I'm going to leave the link in the description again. I keep forgetting that.